exactly 1 hour.
Yeah, there's a ghost in Skype. Yeah.
Time limit.
One guy, he picked the cigarette butts outside the bhakti tree.
Yeah.
And just on the shots, I don't know, he's probably have got something or done. He always come and pick the cigarette butt. If he's got any left in there, he starts smoking. I don't know if he can't afford the cigarette or whatever the reason is.
Yeah.
One day, I tried to give him a prasadam, and he got very angry with me. I mean, he just come every day, and I said, well, you want some? I can give you some prasad. I thought maybe if he had some prasad for Hare Krishna, he probably will
You get the
understand
higher
more.
taste. He'll drop
That's right. But he's like a complete demon. He's just so angry with me, and then said, don't talk to me. I said, it's okay. I'll just offer you a little bit of halwa. That's all. Because you come here, he's got no shirts, only shorts and no shoes. I don't know, he's a homeless or anything. But he come and pick up that. Because next door to Bhakti Tree, there's a tobacconist open. Right next door, if you remember, Prabhuji, there was one little shop next door.
Yep, one little shop. Yep.
Yeah, that's a tobacconist open, and like now, it's just smoke comes all the time there because the guy is like a chimney, and then a lot of people they just have a smoke, and it's by law they can't smoke under the awning.
Yeah.
But they are, so they just throw the butts, and then the one guy with the complete homeless, and I just want to give some prasadam, and so angry with me. Why? I don't want a prasadam. I don't want any food. Like, do you think I'm homeless? I said, by the look of you, you got no shoes, no shirt. You picking the cigarette butts. What do you think you are, a king?
No.
Like, what can I say? I thought maybe prasadam might, it's a Jagannath Prasad. It might change his way of thinking. Maybe get a better life.
I mean, that's what I wanted to say, that devotional service or bhakti is transcendental to one's good or bad karma. If you do bad karma, does it mean you can't do bhakti? Not necessarily. If you do good karma, does it mean you can do bhakti? Not necessarily. I mean, like, in one sense, my neighbor has really bad karma that he spends his whole life drinking. But in another sense, he's so fortunate because his brother is a sannyasi, a Hare Krishna sannyasi, and he enjoys saying Hare Krishna that a lot of people don't. And he loves halava prasadam. He loves halava prasadam.
Prabhu, you make him some nice chai, He might have the higher taste. He'll drop the alcohol.
He's come to our house for kirtan, even though, he's a bit of a vagabond. But we invite him into our house. If I did a program, and he chanted.
He comes with a beer can.
He not with a beer can. He knows that. And he loves prasad. So in one sense, he's more fortunate than most people that have good karma. And those people with good karma say, no, I'm not going to chant Hare Krishna. No, I'm not. I don't want that food. No.
It's the ego.
And he'll very happily take prasad. And if I say, say Hare Krishna, he will. He will.
He's coming. He's building up. Next life he'll be.
So
maybe
he's drinking a beer. Is it because of his karma? Then where is his free will stand? Is it that his karma or free will?
Well, because we misuse our free will and desire to do bad things, then we get locked into further bad things. So that's why it's said, to avoid the four sinful activities, because immediately it sends you on a downward spiral. I'll give you an example. 30 years ago or whatever, 20, 30 years ago, he went to the pub to have a drink. And when he was drunk, he insulted one man. And the one man got angry at him and bashed him on the head. And he got a brain injury. And he also needs crutches to walk because his brain is screwed up. So that's what I'm saying. One thing leads to another thing. He got drunk. Because he got drunk, then he said something stupid. And the guy got angry and beat him up. And now his body is wrecked. And because of that, he's depressed because he can't work or do anything. So what does he do with his life?
That,
he just drinks.
that could be the
So
karma.
that's
The
locked you
past
in.
life, he maybe hit that guy in past life.
Yeah. So, you know,
Could be.
karma is very complicated and very entangling, very hard to get out.
Yes.
But Krishna consciousness is completely transcendental to all of that. So even from a situation of bad karma, you can call out to Krishna. You can take prasadam and be with devotees. And even in a situation of good karma, you could also do that. Sometimes good karma makes it more difficult. Well, I don't need Krishna. I don't need prasadam. I don't want to, you know, like that. I'm all good. I'm fine. Everything's okay. Like that, I'm happy. So that can be more difficult sometimes to take to Krishna consciousness. And that humility is not there. Whereas bad karma, like I said, suffering makes you humble. Like my neighbor, he's very humble. He's very humble. He always speaks very sweetly, very kindly and everything like that. And he'll always listen to what I say and very respectfully and everything like that. So because he's suffered so much, he's very humble and he's very open.
And I noticed that, Prabhu, it's like when I drive the Uber, when the people find out from Hare Krishna, they automatically get humble. They just like, I don't know, whatever they must be have a past experience or things like that. When they seen that, you know, what's this? Always ask them my hairstyle. It's all nice hairstyle. I said, no, it's a religious actually. I belong to Hare Krishna. Then I show this one as well. Oh, then they just completely change in their tone. Okay. I don't know. It's like a kind of a scary part or kind of a humble part or kind of I don't know what it is, but like they just like so much mellow and like, you know, just general conversation. All of a sudden when they find out I'm Hare Krishna, it's and then so suddenly change that. I don't know. A lot of people, they ask this in the back and they always sees that. And then they ask and then I happily tell. And then I say, well, look, you know, if you're a bit tired to cook, just come to Bhakti Tree. This is my marketing tool. Any day you don't feel like to cook, please come to Bhakti Tree. $10 you'll get a meal. Cooked meal.
So what you're saying is that's the way out of the good karma or the bad karma, to bring people to Krishna consciousness only through the mercy of the devotee.
But not all the time. All the
good or bad karma, good or bad karma, if they meet a devotee, then that is the door. That is the door to bhakti. And there's one beautiful verse in the Bhagavatam, Mahat Saivang Dwaram Ahurava Muktais, saying that the doorway to liberation is Mahat Saivang, to serve the great souls. Who are the devotees are great souls. So to service to the devotees is the doorway to liberation. Tamo dwaram yosita sangi sangam. And the doorway to hell, the downwards, to ignore ignorance and darkness, the doorway downwards is associating with materialistic persons. That's two different doors. Associate with devotees, you're going up and out. Associate with materialistic people, down, 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 and come back again and again. So yeah, that's the thing. And yeah, it can be good karma, bad karma. That doesn't matter so much. Somehow contact a devotee. Of course, like I said, sometimes good karma, you know, and they can't really get the benefit of associating with the devotee because they're too puffed up. So, however, once the person with bad karma meets the devotee, and if they're humble and they accept that, then they have to stop the bad karma if they want to progress.
Beautiful.
Then they have, no more meat eating, no more intoxication, no more illicit sex, no more gambling. So then if they want to progress, then they should stop the bad karma. But having bad karma doesn't necessarily mean you won't be able to take to Krishna consciousness. But once you do say, yes, I want to try this, then you have to stop. You have to try your best to stop. Of course,
I mean, like once they start doing chanting, it just happened by itself. You don't really have to say, okay, 15th of January or 1st January is my resolution. I'm going to stop eating. And no, it just once you do chanting, it just happens.
Yeah, like I can't think of a day when I said I don't want to eat meat anymore. All I remember is that I started eating prasadam. So as soon as I started eating prasadam, the meat just went. I mean, who wants to eat meat if you've got prasadam? You know, it's just so good. So good. Okay, let's continue the purport. Huh?
Okay.
Sure.
So yeah, that's the way that people perceive Krishna, is that he's just an ordinary material person, and that's because they're envious. I mean, one thing, we should look at this verse actually on the same subject before we get back. So let's look at 9th chapter, text 27. Oh no, hang on. It's 7th chapter, text 27. So just ahead,
two chapters.
just ahead of where we are.
Yeah.
Just ahead.
Yeah.
And this is on the subject of talking about how we're envious of Krishna. We're envious of Krishna.
O scion of Bharata, O conqueror of foe, all living entity are born into delusion, bewildered by duality arisen from desire and hate.
Desire and hate. So this hate and envy is similar. So what does this mean, this duality? So as we know, the material world is full of dualities, right? This is called a world of dualities. Can you think of some dualities?
Hot, cold.
Hot and cold.
Happy, angry.
Happy and sad. Yeah.
Happy and sad. Yeah.
Rich and poor.
Yeah.
Good and bad. Up and down. So there's so many. So I mean, educated, uneducated. Like that. So there's so many dualities. So where does that all come from? This is the original duality, the source of all other dualities. The original duality is that we have a desire to be God. We have a desire to be Krishna. I want to be in Krishna's position. Krishna's got all the girls dancing around him, Rasa Leela. I want all the girls to dance around me. So we have a desire to be God. And because of that desire to be God, then we hate Krishna. Because he's got
it.
the position that I want. Why do we hate him? Because he's got what I want. What do I want? I want to be him. So he's occupying the position that I want, so I hate him. So that's envy. So this is the original lust. This desire means lust, right? So this is the original desire that I want to be Krishna, I want to be God. And then this is the original hate, the original envy, that he's got what I want, and get rid of him, push him down like that. So I hate him like that. So this is the original of all the dualities. And if we can remove this one, if we can remove this desire, no, I don't want to be God anymore. I don't want to be God. I want to serve God. Instead of wanting to be God, what are we in devotional service? What are we getting trained? In what mentality? No, that I don't want to be God. I want to serve God. And if we deal with that, if we don't desire to be God anymore, then obviously the hate will also go. Why do we hate him? It's only because we want to be him. If you don't want to be him, then you won't hate him. So that the hate will automatically go. So the first thing to deal with, we want to remove this desire to be God. And that is why we're doing devotional service. So we're practicing to serve God. I want to serve God. I want to love God. So, and by doing that's breaking down this desire to be God. The best way to, if you're envious of someone, if you don't like someone, what's the best way to change that? Is to serve them. If you realize that I don't like this person, but I wish I didn't feel like that towards them. How can I stop feeling like that towards this person, that I don't like them? The best way to do that is serve them. Give them some food, give them some gifts, give them charanamrita, massage their feet, give them a seat, a mat, and welcome them, whatever, do some service, and that doing service will counteract that opposite mentality of wanting to be served.
Yeah, but I did all this for my ex-wife, but she still walk away. It's like, I understand.
No, that's a different subject. I'm talking about if you don't like someone.
Oh yeah, that's the thing. If I do like it, I will with her.
If you don't like someone, the best way to break that attitude
Very hard,
down
actually. If you
is
don't
by
like it,
serving
you
them.
serve him. It's really hard. It's if someone you don't like it, you can't serve him. It just doesn't, oil and water doesn't mix. You mix oil with the water, it's not going to happen. If you don't like, how can you serve him?
But the opposite is also true. That if you serve them, then you'll start liking them.
Very hard for me to serve someone if I don't like someone and serve him. Okay.
Yeah, but I mean, if you want to break that down, the only way to do it is by serving them.
Okay. I'll try. But I have to find someone who I don't like. Then I serve him. At the moment,
well, that's the thing. Like Yudhisthira is famous. He's known as Ajata Shatru.
Oh, yes.
Ajata Shatru means enemy. And Ajata means not born. Not born. So his enemy, Yudhisthira's enemy was not born. Does that mean Yudhisthira didn't have any enemies?
No, it does, but hasn't born.
He had heaps of enemies. Like the number one enemy was Duryodhana. Duryodhana, he hated Yudhisthira because Yudhisthira once again had the position that he wanted.
Yeah.
Yudhisthira had the position that Duryodhana wanted. And Yudhisthira had the position that Dhritarashtra wanted for his son. So Yudhisthira had many enemies, but this is looking at it from the other way. Was there anyone that Yudhisthira saw as an enemy?
No.
Duryodhana saw Yudhisthira as his enemy, but did Yudhisthira see Duryodhana as his enemy?
No.
No. So he's a Ajata Shatru. That that person never lived, never existed, that he saw as an enemy. He didn't hate anyone. He was respectful. I tell you what, Dhritarashtra, the blind king, right? He tried to kill the Pandavas in so many ways. After the battle of Kurukshetra, all his 100 sons were dead. So where did Dhritarashtra live after the battle of Kurukshetra when all of his sons were dead?
It's the Kauravas' kingdom.
Whereabouts in the Kauravas' kingdom?
In Hastinapur.
Whose house? Whereabouts in Hastinapur? Whose house?
Yudhisthira.
He lived in Yudhisthira's house. Can you believe it? Yudhisthira loved him so much that he's my uncle. He's his father's brother. So after all of his sons died, he felt so pitiable that let me look after my blind uncle. So Dhritarashtra was living in Yudhisthira's house. The person that tried to kill him so many times. That's how much he never saw anyone as an enemy.
He was so envious for the Pandavas when the battles finished. So he knew that all his sons are died, and then he wants to embrace Bhima. He wants to embrace that, to hug Bhima.
Yeah.
You know the story that?
Yeah.
And the Krishna just stopped him. He said, wait. Krishna knows that. Because Dhritarashtra has got a lot of power. And he sent there a little statue, and he crushed it.
It was iron, an iron one.
Iron, yeah, and he crushed it.
Duryodhana used to practice on that iron one, thinking it was Bhima.
And then because Krishna knows that if the Bhima, he said, oh, come on, all the battles finished, let me hug you. And Krishna knows that he's going to pull it apart, man. He's going to crush it.
Yeah. So that was a good one. Dhritarashtra was living in Yudhisthira's house, and Vidura, Dhritarashtra's brother, Vidura said, what are you doing, my dear brother? You were living in Yudhisthira's house. You tried to kill him so many ways, and now you're living like a dog.
Yeah.
Now you're living just taking some scraps from him. You're living like a dog. He said, get out. Go to the forest. So Dhritarashtra, this was the first time Dhritarashtra listened to the good advice of his brother. His brother was always
giving the good advice a lot of time, but he didn't listen.
He gave good, but he never listened. Like I said before, he was proud and he never listened. But now, what was the difference now? Why did he listen now? Because his pride was crushed.
Yes.
He lost his kingdom.
His
He
ego
lost
is gone.
his sons. He lost everything.
Everything. Yes.
And now he is humble as a blade of grass. And now Vidura said, get out, you just a dog. Just get out of the house and go to the forest and meditate on God. And he did. He did. Then he went to the forest and he meditated on God, Paramatma and everything. And then he left. His soul went out through the top of his head and he went to a higher planet.
Wow.
And then his wife Gandhari was there, burnt his body, and then she jumped into that.
Sati.
Sati, right. So they had a good.
That was hard,
good
jumping in the burning, that pit of the fire there. That's not easy.
No.
Oh.
It takes a lot of courage.
Yeah, because they were saying the Britishers' time, the Britishers, when they ruled in India, they stopped this rule that to sati. And this is
because at that point the family members were dragging the woman and throwing her.
And then woman doesn't go. So what they do that they actually that intoxicate the woman. So woman doesn't even feel it. She's throwing up to the fire.
That's
and
sinful.
Then once you be in the fire, and then she wants to get out, and they just bash with the sticks to stay there because they want to burn them. Yeah, that was the truth. I read the history.
Grotesque.
Yes, that was wrong.
That wasn't the original, as you know. That's the original system.
No, Sati was
the original system is you can't stop the wife from going in.
Yeah, that's right.
She's so attached to her husband.
Yeah.
And she has the faith that if I go in the fire, then wherever he goes, I will also go.
True.
And the fire she's feeling in separation from him, she doesn't want to live. She can't live without her husband.
Yeah.
So much separation. The fire in her heart is more worse than the fire there, outside one. So that's real love.
That's real love.
That's real love. Okay, so that gives you an idea about why people are envious. Why people are envious. So that gives you an idea. And how we can cure that. And then that's through this devotional service. Through serving God, we can get free from this envy of him and this desire to be God. We have to remove that. That desire to be God is very deep-rooted, and that's why we're here. There's one reason why everyone is here, same reason, because we all wanted to be God. And because of that, we've come to the material world. And then alongside that, the other side of the coin is, because we desire to be God, we hate God. So those two things are guaranteed. You see anyone in the material world, they've got two things in their heart. Desire to be God and a hatred of God. The exception is the Shaktivesh avatar. Some servant of Krishna has come to the material world to spread Krishna consciousness. They don't have that desire and hate. They're just on a mission, like Prabhupada was on a mission to help bring us back to Godhead. But generally, every conditioned soul is going to have those two things. But like a devotee, they have those two things too, but they're trying to get out of it. They're starting to realize, I don't want to be God anymore. I don't want to hate God anymore. So at least they're trying to get free from those dualities. And they're starting to do the best thing to get out of those dualities, which is to do service. To do service, and that will gradually free us from this desire to be God and hatred of God. That will gradually happen. Okay, we've got a few more minutes. Let's read some more of the Gulshan, do you want to start the second one in the prayers of Kunti?
In the prayers of Kunti, in the Srimad Bhagavatam 1.8.19, it is said that the Lord is covered by the curtain of a yoga maya, and thus ordinary people cannot understand him. This Yoga Maya curtain is also confirmed in Ishopanishad Mantra 15, in which the devotee prays.
English. Just English.
Okay. Oh my Lord, you are the maintainer of the entire universe, and devotional service to you is the highest religious principle. Therefore, I pray that you will also maintain me. Your transcendental form is covered by a Yoga Maya. The Brahma Jyoti is the covering of the internal potency. May you kindly remove this glowing effulgence, the impeded by me seeing you, Satchidananda Vigraha, your eternal form of bliss and knowledge, the Supreme Personality of Godhead in his transcendental form of bliss and knowledge is covered by eternal potency of Brahma Jyoti. And the less intelligence impersonalists cannot see the Supreme on this account. Also, in the Srimad Bhagavatam 10.14.7, there is a prayer by Brahma, O Supreme Personality of Godhead, O Super Soul, O Masters of all misery, who can calculate your potency and pastime in this world. You are always expanding your eternal potency, and therefore no one can understand you. Learned scientists and the learned scholars can examine the atomic constitution of the material world or even the planet, but still they are unable to calculate your energy and potency. Although you are present before them, the Supreme Personality of God, Lord Krishna, is not only unborn but also avaya, inexhaustible. His eternal form is bliss and knowledge, and his energy is all inexhaustible.
Yes, so the point in this last paragraph is that God is unlimited. And what are we?
We are limited.
We're limited. You know, so then the logical point is, how can the limited understand the unlimited? It's not possible, right? If we're limited, which we are, everyone knows that. If we're limited, how can we understand something that's unlimited? Like God is unlimited. You know, so, and what's the answer? Then they would say, well, why do we bother doing bhakti yoga then? Because if we can't understand it, then what's the point?
It's the process towards getting some understanding.
Yeah. But so the point is, how can the limited understand the unlimited? Yeah, we can't. But
Yes,
is there another way of approaching it?
You can, if you surrender.
Yes.
Like a Prabhupada.
So that's the thing. So the unlimited can reveal himself to the limited,
allows them,
if he's pleased by their service. So in one sense, yeah, we're limited. We can never understand something unlimited. However, if we render service to the unlimited and the unlimited's pleased by that service, by his mercy, he can reveal himself to the limited. So that's the idea there. And the point in the previous paragraph is that how from Krishna's body is radiating the Brahma Jyoti, the spiritual light. Spiritual light's radiating there. So if you've got a blinding light coming at you, can you see what's behind the light?
No,
you can't see. Like, can anyone see the sun god?
You can see only sunlight.
Yeah, because the sunlight's in the way. The sunlight's in the way. Actually, behind the sunlight is Vivashvan, Suryadev. But Suryadev has got all this light coming out of him that you can't see him because all the light is there. So what this is saying here, that the impersonalists, they can't perceive Krishna because all they can see is the light. Just in the same way that all we can see is the sunlight, we can't see the sun god. So the impersonalists, that's all they can perceive is the light, the Brahman. So the impersonalists, their idea is God is light. For them, that's their realization of God. God is everywhere. God is everywhere. God is light. And this idea, this philosophy, is everywhere. In India, 99.9% of people that do have some spiritual belief, they think that God is light. And also in the West, if some people do have some spirituality, they think God is just light, like that. So all these people are being blinded by the light, and they can't see what's behind that is the Supreme Person of Godhead, is Krishna. This is the difficulty.
But it says doesn't it say in the Bible that God created man in his image?
Correct.
So then you know, yeah.
Correct. So that's what I mean. If God reveals himself, but you can't figure that out. But if God himself tells you that, you know, I'm a person and you've come from me, that your form has come from my form, like that. So that's God. If God reveals himself, then we can figure that out. But on your own, you can't figure that out. Yeah, can't figure that out. And their idea is to merge with the light. That's their goal. What's their goal? Their idea is that God is light, he's everywhere, and let me merge into that. When I die, I'm going to merge into that light. And the idea is that I'm going to become God. What does that remind you of? That we're going to merge with the light and become God. What does that remind? We were just talking about it.
It's a foolishness.
Well, what's the desire of the soul in the material world?
To become God. To
become God. So that's back to the start of why we came here. Why did you come here? Because you want to be God. Okay, you practice the spiritual path, which is to merge with the light and become God. Well, that's taking us right back to the beginning again. So is that how you're going to get out of the material world? You want to get out of the material world, but by merging into the light, becoming God? No. That's why we came to the material world, you stupid idiot. Why we came to the world is because you wanted to become God. Now you're practicing a spiritual path. What's the goal of the spiritual path? To become God?
Come back to
No, that's not going to get you out. That's going to get you more in. That's going to put you more in the world. You're going to go more in. You know, as long as you have a desire to become God, you could, whether it's through materialism or through pseudo-spirituality, pseudo-religious, if your desire is to become God, you've sucked right back down the drain hole again of what took us here in the first place. You know, so any genuine religious or spiritual path should be, that is, the goal should be to serve God, not to become God. If you're following a religion or a spirituality which is teaching you that the purpose or the goal is to become God, that's wrong, mate. That's wrong. That's not religion. That's not spirituality. That's cheating. That's ignorance. That's ignorance. So, yeah, they merge into the light, and it's said that even if they do perfect their process, and even if they do merge into the light, they don't stay there very long. So they haven't actually become God. All they've done is merge into that Brahmajyoti, the spiritual light, which comes from Krishna's body. So they don't stay there very long, because although there's no suffering there in the spiritual light, the Brahmajyoti, because there's no material body, but there's no positive happiness either, because there's no relationships. If you're one with everything in the light, then where's the variety? Like there's a saying, right? Variety is the spice of life.
Spice of life.
It's the mother of enjoyment. So there's no positive, there's no rasa. There's no rasa, means the pleasure you get from a relationship. So there's no positive rasa there. So it's boring, basically. So you're in the spiritual light, floating in light, and then you get frustrated there. And then the soul falls back down to the material world. And so generally they'll take birth in a family of welfare workers. Why do they fall down into a body where they're a welfare worker, like a philanthropist, we call it? Why do they become a philanthropist, a welfare worker? Because there's a relationship. See, that's what the soul's hankering for, right? You're looking for a relationship, so you want to serve. See, that's the real nature of the soul. You want to serve. But because we're missing service to God, we end up serving the poor, serve the Blind Foundation, serve the Cancer Society, serve the whales, save the whales, you know, like that. So we do all this material service. But so that's where they fall down from the spiritual light, and they end up taking birth in a body and become like a welfare worker. Like that. So, but it's a circle. So samsara, you go up and then fall down, and go up and fall down. So that's not really progressive. So the best thing is to take the bhakti and go up, up, up and out. Don't come back like that. But we have to get out of this desire to become God. And the best way to do that is through bhakti. Serving God is counteracting that desire to be God.
Yeah.
Service is, that's our original nature. If we do that, then you're starting to become pure again. You think about it, that yeah, if you don't like someone, the last thing you're going to do is serve them. But if you want to change that, if you don't want to hate them anymore, if you don't want to not like them anymore, then yes, if you serve them, it's going to break that. It's going to break that negative relationship. It's going to turn it into a positive one.
Hatred is only one way to move that, to be just from the love.
That's right. So
hate with
that's saying, right? Love is the most power. People talk about that, right? There's no force greater than love. You know, so love means service. So that's the key. You know, if things are not going well in the relationship, just put service in there.
But I think this
service with a smile.
This class more need by the Hamas and Israel, because they hate each other. If they love, like, you know, hate only can remove from the love. There's no other way. Hate with the hate is just keep going.
Yeah.
But they both doesn't.
And
understand.
as Prabhupada said, you know, if you die hating someone, that's exactly what you become in your next life. So those Hamas are going to become Israelis, and the Israelis are going to become Hamas.
When they're going to get out? If they're going to keep circling that, come back there, come back there, come back there, birth, death, and like in a cycle, how are they going to get out?
All the troubles of the world, the source is the Brits.
But probably
they made problems
I
everywhere.
think fighting is our nature. If you look at that ancient Roman or like India invaded by the Britishers, or you're talking about the Middle East, talking about even all the way to go to Mahabharata, is that the fighting is our nature? All the time fighting is there.
I mean, it's going to be the nature if we're ignorant, yes. Because in the mode of ignorance, in Tamagun, that one of the...
Since the Lord Rama's time, fight is there.
Yeah, no, but that's different, because that fighting was for Dharma, on the principle of Dharma, religious principles.
Yeah.
Like it said that there's 6 kinds of aggressors. One of them is if someone comes to steal your property, if someone comes to burn your house, if someone comes to take your wife, if someone comes to give poison, then you have a right to kill them.
To defend.
You have a right to kill them. So that's not just angry Tamagun. That's dharma. That's on religious principles. So the Kauravas tried to steal the property of the Pandavas, and they also took their wife. You know, and they tried to give poison. So they had a right to fight with the Kauravas like that. And you know, Ravana took Ram's wife. So was that just anger, that Ram was angry? No, that's dharma. That hey mate, you took my wife, I'm going to kill you. You know, so that's dharma. It's not just ordinary.
It doesn't apply in Kali Yuga.
Eh?
It doesn't apply in Kali Yuga.
Doesn't apply
in Kali Yuga.
No, dharma is always dharma. But
like now, if somebody take your wife, mate.
I know it's difficult to apply. You'll end up in jail if you try to apply dharma in Kali Yuga.
Now you say thank you. Take it.
Then you know it's Kali Yuga. You know it's Kali Yuga if you say thank you when they steal your wife. So these are the symptoms of Kali Yuga. That's why in Kali Yuga it said there's only one dharma left. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Because none of these other things are working so well anymore.
That's right.
Just to chant Hare Krishna. But still, it's recommended we should try to get this whole social system of Varnashram system up and running as best we can. because it just gives us a little bit of sanity. Otherwise, I tell you, the world is just completely crazy, insane place without some kind of varnashram kind of social system. And it's like a dog eat dog, and like you say, everyone's fighting everyone else. It's pretty horrible, but we don't have to be like that. You know, and that's why Prabhupada wanted in ISKCON to establish farms and have gurukuls and all these kind of things to give us a little bit of peace, a little bit of prosperity, you know, to make it easier to chant Hare Krishna. Because I tell you, I mean, yeah, okay, we can say just chant Hare Krishna, don't worry about anything else, but it's hard to chant Hare Krishna if you don't have any money, if you don't have any food, if you don't have any family, if you don't have any house, if you got guys dropping bombs and rockets and missiles on your head. I mean, you try to chant Hare Krishna now in Israel or Palestine, good luck. You know, you're going to be so stressed. You're going to be so stressed that, or in Ukraine, I mean, there was heaps of Hare Krishna temples in Ukraine, but it's going to be damn hard, you know, to be a devotee.
True.
When you're just fearful of your life, that some bomb is going to fall on your head, or some guy's going to come with an AK-47 and shoot your family or whatever. I mean, why make it that difficult? You know, so the idea is, if we had a brain, you know, we should try to follow God's laws, and that's Dharma. Dharma means God is giving you an idea, you know, live like this and it'll be better for you. You know, so if we had a brain, we should try to follow God's laws, and that's Dharma. But if you want to go against God's laws, that's called Adharma, then you'll see what's the result of that. It's called suffering, you know, and not much Krishna consciousness, you know, so although we do say that, you know, nothing's working well now, just chant Hare Krishna. But at the same time, if you can, you know, try to follow the other guidelines that Krishna's giving of, you know, how to interact with people, how to behave with people and all these kind of things. And that's called Varnashram. It's a very big system, of course. Brahmachari, Grihastha, Vanaprastha, Sannyasi. Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaisya, Sudra. So they all have duties, and how they're going to interact with each other and live in harmony and centered around Krishna. So it's a whole big social system. So, I mean, we should try to do some of those things. It's going to be good for us, going to help us. But if you can't, okay. Just chant Hare Krishna while the bomb's falling on your head and they've cut off the electricity and cut the water off, and because that's what they've done, right? Israel has cut off the electricity and everything. Yeah. Good luck, you know. How long are you going to chant
for? No water, no electricity. Yeah, that's right.
You know, so this is the result. If you go against God, this is the result. Life is like hell.
We're lucky we are the safest place on the planet. But if you look at
how long, Gulshan? For how long? You know, well, World War III is not just going to...
Whatever long is, like, chant and be happy.
Yeah. If it's good times, chant. And if it's bad times, chant.
That's it. Yeah. There's no other way. Harinam.
Devotees pray, you know, to like Prahlad Maharaj, pray that, you know, may all these, you know, vicious beings, may they become Krishna conscious and become peaceful. Yeah. May they become peaceful by Krishna conscious. So that's a prayer the devotees have for the Lord. Please, may everyone become peaceful by becoming Krishna conscious. So we pray for them. We pray for them. May they get out of all this things by becoming conscious of God. And then they can change their mentality from being vicious and angry and whatever to loving God. So we pray.
When are you going to India, Gulshan?
24th.
November, October.
The next week I'll be in the class, and a week after I don't know. I'll see. I'll try and see, depend on because the 27th I'm gonna fly to Kerala. For Panchkarma for 14 days. We'll see, but I'll manage to get Wi-Fi.
When you're doing the Panchakarma, you'll have heaps of time on your hand. You'll have lots of time.
Yeah.
So you can't go anywhere.
Yeah, but they got
I read the whole 8th canto and most of the 9th canto Bhagavatam when I was there for 2 weeks. That was fantastic. It was heaps
and
of time.
they got free Wi-Fi.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
I decided I'm going to do 32 rounds a day.
Great.
Instead of 16, and plus,
Brilliant.
we'll
There's
see.
some reading in that. Yeah,
We'll
it's great.
See. It's all about, it's if somebody can say, oh, when I retire, then I'll do